Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is September the 22nd, 2022. And today we are taking another look at Leviticus chapter 6. And the reason, we're just going to be looking at the first part of Leviticus chapter 6. Let's read through it real quick and then we'll get into it. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, If a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord, and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence, or hath deceived his neighbor, or hath found that which was lost, and lieth concerning it, and sweareth falsely in any of all these that a man doeth, sinning therein, then it shall be, because he has sinned and is guilty, that he shall restore that which he took violently away, or the thing which he has deceitfully gotten, or that which was delivered him to keep, or the lost thing which he found, or all that about which he has sworn falsely. He even shall restore it in the principal, and shall add the fifth part more thereto. So, when I originally read this, because I was reading slowly and breaking things down, I didn't notice that there was a conflict in this first verse. I actually had taken this first verse and I saw that there was a negative, and that it was a negative and a positive, and somehow or another I ended up grouping these first two and then separating it from the last few verses. But when you read it all the way through, it doesn't match. You can't have a negative here, a negative here, a negative here, a negative here, and say that this is a positive and it doesn't apply. That doesn't work out logically. This, by definition, has to be a negative also, or the sentence doesn't make any sense. So, I took another look at it. So, one of the things that I noticed here is that this word is deposit, and this word is deposit as well, but they're different numbers. So you have deposit here, which is a deposit, that which was delivered to keep or store. And the root word, it's almost word for word, it says the same thing. To give a charge, commit, count, deliver, to keep, and then it's almost quoted here as well, delivered him to keep. So it's in the root word, it's in the word that something is delivered to the person to keep. So then you have this here, fellowship, where it says deposit. A deposit that is pledging plus fellowship. So let's look at the root word. Now this root word is actually a common word. It means to put, to commit, care, cast in, change, charge, commit, consider, convey, determine, disguise, dispose. And it's used 580 times. To put. What I couldn't understand is why they didn't just use the same word. The word that is joined with means hand, and this means to empower. A hand, to an open one indicating power, means direction. This is the same word when a priest is consecrated. They'll use this word hand, and they'll use the word feel before it. To feel the hand means to empower the hand, and that's the word that they use to mean consecrated. To feel the hand. So here you have to put in the hand. Well, as the root word, to put in the hand. But the word here, testameth, it's only used one time, so I couldn't find anything on it. So, of course, I had to look for testameth here and here. Well, I couldn't find it. I had no luck there either. But what I did find was I found this word test, and since it matched the pronunciation of Tessameth, I decided that I would follow up on it, because they had to have changed this word. The King James Version of the Bible, all of these words are linked. They all come from roots of primary words, and they're linked upward. So they had to have changed this word for me not to be able to find any words that link up to it with some sort of commonality. There has to be some sort of something that makes sense. So, as you know, this is always very vague. But nevertheless, I was trying to find something, trying to find the truth, because it's hidden. They obviously had to hide it. So tessera came up, and since this matched the pronunciation here of the Hebrew word, this is not something I usually have to do, but I'm desperate times, calls for desperate measures. So tessema, let's look this up together. Hold on. So tessera. Tessera is a mosaic, by the way. A small tablet used by the ancient Romans as a ticket, tally, or voucher. And then a small piece as of marble, glass, or tile used in mosaic work. And then tessellate. Let's look at tessellated. Is made of a small flat pieces of various shapes and colors that fit together to form a pattern. Now I looked up tessellate because one of the things that I noticed here was that they put that it was probably a black tile. And I thought to myself, well, where did that come from? Mind you now, I had no idea what was going on here. So, but when I saw that it was probably a black tile, I couldn't understand how they would relate just a regular mosaic to being a black tile. Black marble. Well, reading on, you have tessellate, that is to embroider as if with bright stones to pave. Now this doesn't look anything like black, right? But it's the same word, the one we just looked up. Let's look at the root word for it. Hold on. 7529. A red hot stone for baking is coal. That's the root word for tessella. It's coal. The root word for this is actually the red hot stone. A live coal by analogy. This is the one that's red hot. They just translated this as a red hot stone, but the word is coal. And that's the way it's used. It's coal. I'll let you look it up on your own. It's used as the word black, I think it was. That's the way I'll look it up for you. No, you can do it. But anyway, so it's color. Test. The first part of this word is related to color. Ooh. Now, this is the word that I originally looked up when I was trying to find test. I can't remember if I found like maybe one or two things. I don't think I found anything, but I may have found one or two things and it just didn't make sense, so I didn't put it in here. So then when I came to ooh, that's just this right here. I couldn't find anything for that. I searched these two letters together to see if I could find something. I did find a few things for when I combined those two letters. Not very much again, but it didn't make any sense. The words weren't related. When I say it doesn't make any sense, I'm saying that the words weren't related. This, I think, is just a conjoiner. So that's the way I used it. And then for meth, I used these two letters. So meth, let's move on to myth. Myth. Stability, figuratively certainty, truth, trustworthiness, assured, establishment, faithful, right, sure, true, verity, with a verity. Very good, right? And that's these two words right here. What I found, what was common, is that it seemed to be descriptive of a man. Skin, bottle. No, this one didn't really match, but I left it in there anyway. A seal. Now, this is the word that was used when Terah became pregnant by her father-in-law. Her father-in-law had promised his youngest son to be her husband and impregnate her with a child by her deceased husband. And when the son grew of age, he did not fulfill that promise. And so Terah became impregnated by the father, and she used his seal as proof of who she was pregnant by. So this also indicates a man or a house, because that's what the seal is representative of. It's a house. So then you have same letters here, a sister-in-law. But then it could have stopped there at sister-in-law, but it changes it. It changes the understanding to a brother's wife. How is a sister-in-law a brother's wife? Why can't it be a sister's? I mean, why can't it be your? Well, yeah, it's going to be your brother's wife. It is going to be your brother's wife. Anyway, my point is, it indicates that the man is still indicated in there. And we're going to skip the rest of these because they're not really close or anything like that. But I did find this. And the only difference here is that they added an extra little dot on there. Right? So since they were trying to hide it, I put it in here anyway. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in the names, by the way. But so where it says man who is of God, the root word is adult. So it may not be man exactly, but the root of the word, of course, is going to be man. And then man of a dart, meth, again, the root of that word is adult. Man of a dart. So my understanding of this word has come to be man of color. That's what I see. And we want to understand what they were writing. We know that it's not true. We know that it's not true. But to me, at least, it's important to know what they were up to when they wrote it. It's just important to me to know and understand that. It just is. So now when we look at this, everything becomes a negative. So I say that I said man of color, but just keep in mind that it could be like man has a lot of implications in it. It just does. And that's why I could so easily see that in this, like this, the stability, trustworthiness, things such as that. But it could be like a free man of color or something like that. It could be a Christian because it has all of these implications in it. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm giving a simplistic definition when I say man. I have to, because the definitions are vague. But it's still a man. They're not talking about a toaster here. When it says, and that was delivered to him to keep, it's not his toaster that he stole. There are already laws about stealing. We don't need a whole half a book to tell us how to handle someone who steals from us. And why is this special anyway? Why is this so special so special a commandment that if someone steals something that's delivered to you to keep, that they have to write a whole new law about it. No, there were laws against slavery, and that's what they were trying to undo. That's what they were up to. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. You couldn't do that according to the Bible. And so people knew that that was in the Bible, and they didn't want to uphold this system. They didn't like it. And so they put something in the Bible to uphold it. Now it's not a toaster that was delivered him to keep. Look, before we go into that, look at this. Delivered him to keep. And then they repeated it down here. Delivered him to keep. In a thing taken away by violence. He took violently away, or he robbed, because it doesn't have to be by violence. It's just without consent. Hath deceived, deceitfully gotten, or have found that which was lost, the lost thing which he found. The only thing that's left for this to go under is to swear falsely. He has sworn. This is swearing falsely. All that he has sworn falsely, he shall even restore it in the principle. If this were something good, if someone tells you they're 6'2" and they're only 6 feet, is that a sin? And how do they restore that in the principle? No, this is all about one topic. This entire thing is about freeing a man. Delivered him to keep, not a toaster, a man. In a thing taken away by violence, by robbery. You didn't steal you didn't break into your neighbor's house and steal his toaster. No, you took that slave and walked away with him by your side and helped him. Have deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost. A man. Now this becomes a negative. Now this sentence makes sense. Now if he lies about stealing his neighbor, about the slave that was delivered to him to keep, if he lied by empowering this man, if he lied and took that slave away and robbed that man, or he lied and said that he wasn't in his basement while he was hiding him, or found one that ran away and lied concerning it, now you can assign a price to it. Now you can say, oh, he has that value. This has to be a negative. And the only thing that I found that I can make sense out of, well, is what I just shared with you. Anyway, I think that was all that I had. Yeah, nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. And we need to know what these people were up to. And that's what they were up to here. They put this abomination in our Bible, and in order to negate the laws of God that he had dictated. And please, please, please do not deceive yourself. Do not go off on that heathen thing, man. You have actually got bigger problems than this if you're still thinking that black people were heathen. We weren't. This book was our book. We share it with you now. It's yours now also. But it was originated for us, through us. It came through us. The laws for heathen were different, for slavery. That's true. But it was always an upstanding way in order, amongst the people of God especially, it was an upstanding way to pay your bills. That's what slavery was. It wasn't like this. And you could not steal a human being. You couldn't. A penalty of death. Okay. I will leave it at that. It's important to me to know what these people are up to. I'll leave it to you to make your own decisions. And I will see you in the next video.